What is the extreme value theorem? While you could spend your time trying to make sense of mathematical mumbo-jumbo online, you could also do it the simple way. Take a look at this graph. The extreme value theorem states that if there's a function that is continuous, or in other words, has no breaks in it, then there's a maximum value and a minimum value for a certain range of that function, a to b. And we can see that this is true. These values are called absolute maximums and absolute minimums. Okay, wait a minute. Then why do we need to call something so obvious by a technical name like the theorem? Well, we can use this in calculus to find things called extreme values. Take another look at that graph. Do you notice anything about those maximum and minimums? Yep, that's right. They have a flat top, or in other words, a slope of 0. That means that these points, the derivative is 0. So we can find these extreme values by setting the derivative of the function equal to 0. Simple enough, right? Well, there are some cases, like we see in this graph, where there are multiple occurrences of this flatness, but there aren't necessarily absolute max or mins. These are called local max or mins because they are the max and mins for the local area in the function. That's why when setting the derivative equal to 0 to find these points, they're called extreme values because we have to test them to see if they actually are absolute maximums or just local. But still, pretty useful. Okay, but what about this graph? We see that the slope isn't 0 because the graph cuts off, but we also notice that the points at the max and min are the starting and ending points. That's why it's important when checking to find your absolute minimums and absolute maximums to include these ending and starting points in your checks, no matter what. So there you go. Simple, easy, logical, extreme value theorem.